pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, folks, if you turn your cell phones down, we greatly appreciate it. Sarah, if you would do the roll call.
Councilman O'Flaherty. Councilman Castillo.
Here.
Councilman Fazio.
Here.
Councilman Hoppenstedt.
Here.
And Supervisor DeTeo.
Present. Okay, welcome everybody. What I would like to do first off is,
Excuse me,
yes, sir.
before you start the meeting, I think Willie's got something to say.
That's true.
For all your years of service and guidance, the board would like to give you this plaque. Thank you for the years of service, dedication to service as councilman and town supervisor.
I greatly appreciate it.
Dean, vote.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I take a group
All
picture?
participate.
Aw.
Oh.
Can I
So,
take a group picture?
walk through. Thank you very, very much.
You don't worry about hanging. You can do whatever you want.
Herb.
Should we smile too?
Well, hold it up so we can see it on your shirt. There we go. We
Right.
might even be able to read it if it's really good.
We will, and then, okay, now we're nice. Nice, okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, that being said, before we start, go further, I should say, I would like to thank not only the board, but all the staff and all the folks in the community, whether they support what we do or do not support what we do. Understand that we try to be fully transparent. We try to do the best possible job we can with the education that we have and the education that we do and the steps we take to make good, solid decisions. It has been a long, hard road, but I'm very appreciative of the board, the staff, the employees of the town hall. Unbelievable. Great job for everybody. Thank you very much for the support and doing what you guys do. Police department, highway department, the whole town hall. And I have to also include the rest of the departments that I didn't know. That being said, like I said, I appreciate very much. It was a great honor, and I've had a great honor in serving the community. And that I am not going to be serving the community for the next year. Who knows what the next year will bring? But if I do decide to come back, which I may, you never know, my seat will move from here to the audience. And just like my feeling as serving the town, accountability is what's important. And accountability is what I strive for. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, that being said, we'll move on to the minutes. I would like to make a motion not to read the minutes of the previous town board meeting. Second. We have a motion on the floor not to read the minutes of the previous town board meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. I would also like to make a motion that we accept the minutes of the previous town board meeting.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor with a second to accept the minutes of the previous town board meeting. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Thank you very much. Under additions. Under additions, I did receive about, believe it or not, about a half hour ago, I received an email from Barton LaJudas. Those are the folks that are doing the study or the engineering on the Maple Avenue sidewalk. And I will read this. And again, this is the cost of doing business. You don't get startled, and hopefully the Facebookers won't get out there and start pounding the keys in an uneducated way in the middle of the night. But this is what I received. So it says, "Hi, Dean. We have completed the construction plans and estimations for the Maple Avenue sidewalk replacement project. The anticipated cost for this project is $560,000. I have attached a copy of the plans and the estimate, which I'll forward to the board. Overall, the project construction cost was estimated to be approximately $369,000, which includes a 10% contingency factored in. In addition to that, we added project costs for inflation anticipation of a 2027 construction date. Additional engineering costs for New York review and coordination, and National Environmental Policy Act, NEPA, reevaluation efforts that are required with the project with federal funding. Construction and inspection will also be required for the project, assuming the federal funds are secured, which we included to reflect the actual amount of the town will need a full-time construction inspection. A separate RFP will be required for the construction inspection work, and the next step is can include applying for a Transportation Alternative Program or a TAP funding grant for the project. The program is open now. Applications must be submitted by March 12th, 2026, and a mandatory pre-review submission is due on January 15th, 2026. We are familiar with the grant program, its application, and can work with the town through the process. So, like I said, I will forward this email to you. There's an attachment on there which gives a breakdown. The breakdown cost, at a real quick snapshot of that, it shows things, miscellaneous incidentals, 10%, contingency risk, 5%, substantial, $20-25, inflation to 2027, construction midpoints, award of the construction cost is the NEPA reevaluation, engineering, construction, and inspection. And again, that total projection is $560. Out of that $560, a very large portion, or all of it, is anticipated to be covered by a grant, and that was his question here, that I don't know what the desire of the board is, but my opinion is that we move forward with this grant as time is of the essence. January 15 is that hard date for the initial process. I don't know what the actual total cost is going to be, but it's a project that has to be done. So, any questions on that?
No, we have to move forward on it. It's been kicked down the road long enough.
Yes, I agree. So, I think actually, I mean, it's something that I just received. So, I think the anticipation is I will contact them tomorrow morning. I will see what what the cost of the town for that grant is. I do know that we've applied for grants in the past. We were unsuccessful with those grants. I do know the anticipation was getting the engineering done, and we've concluded that. That is a big plus and gives us a step up as far as the grant process goes. So that being said, I think that anticipation letter should go in and move forward with that. The hard numbers will come out and show us what the March deadline will be to actually file that grant. If that's filed in March, I believe that those grants are a 6 to 8 month turnaround. There's a period to submit the grants, it's a short window, and then they take about 6 months to go ahead and go through the process for award. And again, that would be, once that is awarded, there's a process that takes time, just like the bridge down the old mill, and the anticipation is to start in 2027. So it's become a hazard up there, and it definitely needs to be addressed. It's something we've been working on and kicking the can down the road for years. So
How many, it's like, isn't it like 20 years it's been talked about the sidewalk, or pretty close?
it's been talked about for quite a long time, and the thing that is kind of like
Messed up.
aggravating to me, I will say, is the fact that it's on a county road that's maintained by the county. So to me, the snow plows, the salt, everything has deteriorated that sidewalk. There's been rebar cut out of that sidewalk that's been sticking up, that's been hit with plows or cars or what have you. There's people that walk that sidewalk every day, jog that sidewalk, children that walk that sidewalk, and it's a safety concern. So it's not only a safety concern, but it's a great liability. And ultimately, we don't want anybody getting hurt up there. So we did go and do the study onto it. I believe you actually joined me quite a few times up there. Willie, you've joined me quite a few times. I have spoken to the county many times, and the anticipation is to have the county do some tree work up there, which they agreed to, and cut some of the larger dead trees that are up there, but in preparation of getting the sidewalk done. But I will pursue, at the board's request, I will pursue that by a phone call tomorrow. I will reach back out. I did leave a voicemail with him. I did not realize how late it was when I called him, but I left a voicemail and told him that I would be bringing it up to the board tonight, and the anticipation was to call him tomorrow. Okay?
Great.
And Anybody else have any questions, concerns, comments?
Somebody
additions?
from the audience, even
Well-
though it's not a public hearing yet.
It's not public input, but go ahead.
This is the Maple Avenue in Clintondale, right?
Yes,
And
yeah.
it's on the east side of the street as you're going
yes,
down, okay.
Yep.
That curb has eaten up a lot of my tires. If we could get it painted white, I would know exactly where it is,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't be feeling like I squeezed over all the time.
yeah, we're trying to get that whole area, redone. That road through that area is actually very narrow to begin with. And if I'm not mistaken, it looks like to me like, South Street was extended from that intersection to 4455 because that
Mhm.
was such a contentious, road going up through there with the winding.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I can mention that as some sort of a safety measure. This time of year with the white snow, it's not gonna very much make a difference, but.
No, but it's in the summertime too.
Yeah,
So
totally
It would be
understand.
great if it were painted white. I mean, I'd even go out there and paint it.
Yeah,
I'd
I
be
know it
happy.
doesn't make it any better, but a lot of folks share the same concern that you have. A lot of folks have called up. And, I do have monthly, some I did have for a while, weekly calls saying complaining about it. So we have done the engineering study, and like I said, it's come to a conclusion. We know the numbers, and now we need to get the financing in place. All right?
A lot of money for a sidewalk.
All right, so I will, look forward with that. Is there any other additions by the board? Okay, hearing none, I will go to the monthly reports. I will make a motion not to read the monthly reports tonight. The monthly reports are on the table in the back. They can also, be acquired in the town clerk's office, and they will be online probably in the next day or two. Correct, Sarah? So they're available there. So I'll make a motion not to read the reports.
I'll second it.
We have a motion on the floor not to read the reports with a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. So let me put them to the side. Okay. We have no public hearings. Next, we have a police purchase. I did not put this in your mailboxes, but I will explain to you what this is. A voucher came across the desk, I believe, Councilman Fazo, you were here when I received this?
Yep.
Or maybe Councilman Castillo, take a look at it. This is a request, and, this is a voucher that came across my desk, and it's for the sum of $8,000, and that is from the PD, the police department. And that is for a purchase of a 10 by 18 Super Barn LP Smart Side. It's a storage shed, is what it is, with a garage door onto it. The request, to spend the $8,000 will come out of their .2 account, so they do have the money for it. And this barn would actually house the, sign that we just paid, I believe upwards of $9,000 for. There's a couple of other pieces of equipment that they can put into that, garage also. Storage shed. There is also concern with everything that's in the attic of the police department up there. There's a lot of stuff that can be moved and actually placed into there as well. So it's a very good idea, in my opinion, for them to do that. Also with that, the only concern that I had, originally I was gonna have the chief come, and, he's very busy tonight, so I am not taking him away from his obligations. I respect what, he's doing, and, the concern was where we were going to put it up.
I was gonna answer that question.
Yeah, so there was, two options initially. One of the options was to put it on the blacktop, the other options was to put it onto a pad. I did ask the chief, he was gonna come, like I said, and give a presentation tonight. I spoke to him earlier, I had a meeting with him, and, the anticipation is he did speak to the highway superintendent, and he said that, upon the approval of the town board for this, that he would send, somebody up there to actually look and see where the best possible place is to avoid, any kinds of problems with snow removal, the septic system, a loss of any kind of parking, and basically put it in an area that would be conducive to.
And what was the size of this again?
The size of the shed is 10 by 18,
They
and
had
the
part-
total cost would be $8,000.
No, I understand that.
Well, it could
Was
be a
without
little bit
pad.
higher, Dean, right, cause they have to do gravel and whatnot, so.
That would be.
I mean, it wouldn't be a fortune more,
And
but
good
there's
point.
still a few bucks
Yeah,
added on.
good point.
Yeah, but-
Because originally this price, the $8,000, they were gonna set it on the blacktop, and then when they got looking at it, so that is a good point, thank you.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit more, but I know we have more property down here on the, where the highway is, but wouldn't that make more sense?
You know what?
Because parking up there is so
I
crazy.
100% understand what you're saying. And my thought process initially was that when I first heard about this, but, and under the recommendations of the chief and, the highway superintendent, I'm gonna leave that decision up to them. I would leave it up to them.
Yeah,
And
well,
given they would know the best possible scenario, but the chief would probably want that stuff right where it is.
right, okay, and then they do rotate their vehicles, so
Yeah.
they could always park the ones that are not down here.
Yeah, that's a great possibility.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Great possibility. So, in light of what Councilman Fazio said, the request is for $8,000. Would it be, of value to make a motion to allow the police department to spend up to $9,000, and that would give them plenty of buffer to purchase any kind of stone?
If they have enough money to cover for 10,
At that
because
point too.
for 10, if they have enough money in there,
Mhm.
just give it up to 10, because $1,000, I don't think they're gonna be able to do it.
All right,
Unless the highway is doing it themselves,
what is the rest of the
and
board?
Well-
Mr.,
Really, it's a load of stone, and actually what I told, I think it was the chief, remember when they took down the dugout pit?
Yeah.
And there was the wood, if they needed any timbers,
Mhm.
I mean, cause that was saved, right?
That was saved, but I gotta tell you, that wood
that what was really
Shot.
was shot.
Okay,
The reason why we saved that wood is to build any kind of like forms or any kind of cribbing or something like that.
okay, yeah, I didn't know how good it was.
Yeah, I don't think I would put it under anything, to be honest with you, other than to use it to move something, to slide it on and then pick it up and discard it. But,
Yeah, if the highway
Yeah.
superintendent and the chief comes up with a good idea, just give them
All right,
up to
so-
upwards of $10,000.
so, I'll make a motion to allow the police department to spend up to $10,000 out of their .2 to purchase the storage shed as requested, and the extra money would be utilized for the pad underneath it,
Yeah,
when
because
it's finally located.
if they're talking about concrete or stone, I don't know what to do.
No,
No, they're
stone.
not gonna do
Oh, stone,
concrete.
yeah, 9,000 would be good if we're doing stone, but
Okay, well,
up to them.
and honestly, that's the number that I feel good.
9,000,
So
okay.
I'll rescind that motion.
Yes.
I will make a motion that we allow the police department to spend up to $9,000
Okay,
to purchase a 10 by 18 storage, I should say, Super Barn LP Smart Side, which is a storage shed as requested. And that is for the price of $8,000. The additional $1,000 up to the $9,000 mark will be utilized for the gravel to put under the, building.
so I'll second it.
So there's a motion on the floor with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. All right, thank you. Next is a highway transfer request. And let me see if I have that, because I think I may have it. Okay. So we have two bookkeeper, CC Town Supervisor Depew. This is from Robert Weiger Senior. Please transfer $149.98 from the A 5010.4 Superintendent Highway Contractual to A 5010.200 Superintendent of Highways Equipment. This transfer is necessary to cover the cost of a new printer and its insurance for 3 years. Interesting. Okay, so I will make a motion. This is a Town of Platico Resolution Number 66 of 2025, General Fund Budget Amendment. Whereas the Highway Superintendent has requested a transfer in the amount of $149.98 from the A .5010.400 Superintendent of Highway Contractual to A .5010.200 Superintendent of Highway Equipment. Whereas this transfer is necessary to cover the cost of the new printer and insurance for 3 years. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Platico, Ulster County, to amend the 2025 general fund budget with an increase of the A .5010.200 Superintendent of Highways Equipment and decrease the A .5010.400 Superintendent of Highways Contractual in the amount of $149. I Be it further resolved that fundings shall be supported by a transfer from A 5010.400 Superintendent Highway Contractual to A 5010.200 Superintendent Highway Equipment. That is a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion on the floor with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, next we have an employee liability reserve fund, and this fund will be established to support any payments that are due anybody that is retiring, and we do have folks that are available, or excuse me, eligible to retire, I should say, over the next couple of years. This is something we should have done a long time ago, and we did not. So, let me just see this, 67. So, any questions on that before I read this? Okay. So, the following resolution is going to be introduced by me on a motion. Whereas the highway superintendent has requested a transfer in the amount of $20,000 from the DA 5110.400 general repairs to the DA 51. Now wait a minute, I have to take this back because this is not what I am doing. Bear with me.
So there's three highway
Doesn't sound like the
requests,
right thing.
Here, there's a.
and then we go to the liability.
Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. There was 3 requests, and I jumped, and those 2 are separate. So let me rescind all of that and go back to
The 67.
the 2 requests. So 67 of 2025. So, this is to the bookkeeper also, CC the supervisor of few, Robert Wager Senior, 12/11/2025 transfer request. This is the first I'm seeing. Please transfer $20,000 from the DA 5110.4 general repair contractual to the DA 5142.4 snow removal contractual. This transfer is necessary to cover the cost of the end of the year unforeseen bills for road salt and stone dust. Okay, so now this will be the resolution number 67 of 2025. This is the second request from the highway superintendent. Whereas the highway superintendent has requested a transfer in the amount of $20,000 from the DA 5110.400 general repairs to DA 5142.400 snow removal. Whereas this transfer is necessary to cover the cost of the end of the year unforeseen bills for road salt and stone dust. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Plattekill, Ulster County, to amend the 2025 highway fund budget with a decrease of the expense line DA 5110.400 general repairs in the amount of $20,000 and an increase in the expense line of DA 5142.400 snow removal in the amount of $20,000. Be it further resolved that funding shall be supported by a transfer of $20,000 from DA 5110.400 general repairs contractual to the DA 5142.400 snow removal. That is a motion, gentlemen.
Second.
So we have a motion on the floor for resolution 67 with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Okay, 68, number 3. Okay, this is a letter from, or I should say to the bookkeeper from the Robert Wager Senior and CC the supervisor. Q 12/15/2025 transfer request. Please transfer $30,000 from the DA 5110.1 general repairs personnel to the DA 5142.1 snow removal personnel. This transfer is necessary to cover the cost of unforeseen overtime. Okay. The highway superintendent has requested a transfer in the amount of $30,000 from the DA 5110.100 general repairs to the DA 5142.100 snow removal. Whereas this transfer is necessary to cover the cost for the unforeseen overtime. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Platicille, Ulster County, to amend the 2025 highway fund budget with a decrease of the expense line DA 5110.100 general repairs in the amount of $30,000 and an increase in the expense line of DA 5142.100 snow removal in the amount of $30,000. Be it further resolved that funding shall be supported by the transfer of $30,000 from the DA 5110.100 general repairs personnel to the DA 5142.100 snow removal personnel. That is a motion. Have a motion on the floor with a second. All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Okay. Now we are to the Employee Liability Reserve Fund. Any questions on the Employee Liability Reserve Fund? No questions.
No.
I
Okay.
didn't see a copy of that in the back.
So, resolution number 69 of 2025.
You can see that?
$69 or $68?
We are on number 69. Is there any on the table back there? While you, Sarah, while you're standing up, can you make sure that she has the next one too?
She does,
70?
right here. Yeah,
Thank
she
you.
does. I can remember that. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Good? Okay, resolution number 69 of 2025. So, the Town of Platicille Town Board establishment of an employee benefit accrued liability reserve fund. Be it resolved that pursuant to 6-P of the state general municipal law, the town board hereby establishes a reserve fund to be known as the Employee Benefit Accrued Liability Reserve Fund. Reserve fund in parentheses or fund. The purpose of this reserve fund is to accumulate monies to fund accrued employees' benefit payments due to an employee upon separation of service with the town, such as, but not limited to, authorized accrued, but unused and unpaid sick leave and vacation time. Since an employee does not know when an employee will give notice, when an employer does not know when an employee will give notice of his or her separation from service, the purpose of this reserve fund is to assist the town board in planning for lump sum cash payments made to employees upon separation from service, and to reserve monies in the fund in order to make such payments. Be it further resolved that the chief physical officer of the town is hereby directed to deposit and secure the monies of the reserve fund in the manner provided by Section 10 of the General Municipal Law. The chief physical officer, at the discretion or direction of the town board, shall invest the monies in a reserve fund in the manner provided by Section 11 of the General Municipal Law and consistent with the investment policy of the town. Any interest earned or capital gains realized on the monies so deposited or invested shall accrue to and become part of the reserve fund. The chief physical officer shall account for the reserve fund in a manner which maintains the separate identity of the reserve fund and shows the date and the amount of each sum paid into the fund. Interest earned by the fund, capital gains or losses resulting from the sale of the investments of the fund, the amount and date of each withdrawal from the fund, and the total assets of the fund, showing each balance and schedule of investments, and shall, at the end of each fiscal year, deliver to the town board a report of the operation and condition of the fund. Be it further resolved that, except as otherwise provided by law, expenditures from the reserve fund shall be made only for the purpose for which the reserve fund is established. No expenditures shall be made from the fund, our reserve fund, except by authorization of the town board in accordance with Section 6-C of the General Municipal Law, including a permissive referendum if required by section 6-C in parentheses number 8 of the general municipal law. Be it further resolved that the town board authorizes the opening of the reserve fund account at M&T Bank and directs an initial deposit into the reserve fund in the amount of $40,000, which monies shall be transferred from the unallocated surplus funds, and that is a motion.
I'll second that.
So that is a motion with a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Okay, next, resolution number 70. This is a building reserve fund, and this is, well, when I read this out, it'll explain itself. It is a fund that is established for building replacement. Currently, there is nothing that has been saved, and our buildings are in disarray, so this establishes at least a savings account and gets us on the way. So resolution number 70 of 2025, Town of Plattekill establishment of Building Capital Reserve Fund. Be it resolved that pursuant to section 6-C of the state general municipal law, the town board hereby establishes a capital reserve fund to be known as the Building Capital Reserve Fund, in parentheses, reserve fund or fund. The purpose of this reserve fund is to accumulate monies to finance the cost of the construction and reconstruction of a type of capital improvement, namely town buildings. Be it further resolved that the chief fiscal officer of the town is hereby directed to deposit and secure the monies of the reserve fund in the manner provided by section 10 of the general municipal law. The chief fiscal officer, at the discretion or direction of the town board, shall invest the monies in a reserve fund in the manner provided by section 11 of the general municipal law and consistent with the investment policy of the town. Any interest earned or capital gains realized at the money, on the monies so deposited or invested shall accrue to and become part of the reserve fund. The chief fiscal officer shall account for the reserve fund in a manner which maintains the separate identity of the reserve fund and shows the date and the amount of each sum paid into the fund. Interest earned by the fund, capital gains or losses resulting from the sale of investment of the fund, of the fund, and the amount and date of each withdrawal from the fund, and the total assets of the fund, showing each balance and a schedule of investments, and shall, at the end of each fiscal year, deliver to the town board a report of the operations and conditions of the fund. Be it further resolved that, except as otherwise provided by law, expenditures from this reserve fund shall be made only for the purpose for which the reserve fund is established. No expenditure shall be made from the reserve fund except by authorization of the town board in accordance with section 6-C of the general municipal law, including a permissive referendum if required by section 6-C in parentheses the number 8 of the general municipal law. Be it further resolved that the town board authorizes the opening of the reserve fund account at M&T Bank and directs an initial deposit into the reserve fund in the amount of $150,000, no cents, which money shall be transferred from the unallocated surplus funds, and that is a motion.
Second.
So we have a motion on the floor with a second. All in favor?
Before I go,
Yes.
cause just one question.
Yes.
This is just for new buildings and not for everyday repairs,
No,
correct?
this is for building replacement, town building replacement or renovation. Well, it says in the, pretty much clearly defines
Yep.
exactly what I just read.
Okay, no,
And
I
hate to say
understand what
this,
you
would
read, I
like me
just,
to read it again.
no, I just wanted everybody to
Thank you.
know also what it was for.
Yep.
Yeah, not for the everyday use.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Thank you.
She's just gonna put it in a bank account?
In an investment account with M&T now. Yes,
You could
separate.
put it in certificates of deposit.
Yes, we
So
will,
you have
we
a
will,
known quantity of interest you would be earning over a period of time.
yes, we will take care of that. Okay,
You didn't
so,
say that, though.
well, hang on. at this time, the building reserve fund, I will make a motion at 7:35, I'll say 7:35 PM to open public input.
I will second that.
So we have a motion to open up public input with a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Question?
Yeah, I'm concerned if you're gonna put this money in an account,
Yes.
but in the account, you would be able to specify like certificates of deposit or some other means where you would be earning it.
The intention is exactly like the resolution stated. What we're going to do is we're gonna follow municipal law, and we're gonna follow those sections, and we're going to make the best investment possible. And basically invest, and there will be annual reports on that back to the town board. Everything will be documented, and we will put it into the highest, safest account to make the most money possible out of that. But that's a good point, yes.
Did you look at the new bank down the street?
We cannot do business with them because of the type of bank that they are.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
unfortunate because they're a local bank. So banks, credit unions, all have different classifications,
Mhm.
and I believe they have to be a commercial type bank. That would be a question for Mr. Stein.
I would think that's, credit union, and then FDIC is the banks, I would
Yeah.
think.
And there's different designations for banks and different securities. There's different things when we're talking about the FDICs and the insurance of the money that's deposited. There's different levels,
Yeah,
and
federal
we
government
have to be in the
versus
commercial.
shareholders.
All right, any other questions?
That's
Good.
wonderful.
Yes, sir, you in the back.
This young lady can go first.
No, you can go
No,
first,
you can go,
Bobby.
Judy.
Oh, all right. Well, that was very kind of you.
I know, I'm processing a moment. It almost brought a tear to my eye. Okay, ma'am?
Judy Maley, M-A-Y-L-E. I couldn't hear, when you said that you were, you authorized $10,000 for the purchase of something over at the, police department, where was that money coming from?
The .2 out of the police accounts. And it
So-
wasn't 10,000, it ultimately was passed at $9,000.
Oh, 9,000.
It's $8,000 for the building. That was the estimate that they got. They went out and they got different, prices for different buildings.
Uh-huh.
And the anticipation originally was to place it on a blacktop. And with the brain that Mr. Fazio has over here, we thankfully have him. Good point was made that if we do not put that on the blacktop, which the anticipation is not to put it on the blacktop, we'll lose parking, put it someplace else. So there would be an increase in money that could, make it substantially higher or somewhat higher, and we put a cap at $9,000. I think we're gonna be well within that price range. The money is there, and the need is there.
So that was my question. I was looking at the, 2026 budget, and as of September 26, 2025, in the .2 for the police, there was only $254 left. So I was wondering, where are you gonna get the money then from for
They're
9,000?
going to put money, we're gonna do the same thing that the highway department does, we're going to move money, and it'll
Oh.
come out of that point.
Oh, so you're transferring the money after the
Yes.
fact?
No, before that. It'll all happen at the same time. The building is not coming today.
Right, but you authorized the purchase.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And where were you gonna get that 9,000 from to transfer that in then?
We can utilize it out of the .2. I don't have the numbers here in front of me, so I'm not gonna argue with
Oh,
what you're looking at.
I'm not arguing with
Yeah.
you, I'm just
No, I'm saying
asking
I'm
the
not gonna
question.
argue the point, I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth. The .2 is what I had looked at, and that was what the request was, so that is where it's going to come out of.
Right, but there's only $254 in there as of September of this year, so I'm just wondering where you're getting the money to
I
pay
am
for
not sure
this.
that number is accurate today.
So you think you've transferred money since September?
No. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure. The .2 is the anticipation of where we're gonna take that out of. So in looking at the, numbers, we looked at the numbers and there was money that was in that account for that. And if it's
Well-
not, and I'm inaccurate, I'll correct that and I will.
Yeah, this is this is on your website right now for the town of Plattekill.
Mhm.
Your budget for 2026, which shows as of 9/25/25, these are your numbers, not mine, that there's
9/25/25.
$254 left, so I was just wondering where you were gonna get the money from.
I will research that and I will get you an answer.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Oh, if you have another question, go right ahead.
Oh, I did. With regard to the liability reserve fund, how much is there right now in accrued employee liability?
0. We've never had an employee liability fund, reserve fund. That's why we're establishing
That
it.
was not my question. How much do you have currently in accrued employee liability?
I just answered you. Your question is how much do we have there?
No.
0, because we've never had that fund before.
I didn't ask you how much is in a fund, I asked how much do you currently have in
How much
accrued
is
employee
basically
liability?
sitting on the line, what might be owed, correct?
Yeah, you'll have that in your, I would presume you have to report it every year in your annual financial document, so.
So we cannot say, we're not going to put a date on each person when they're going to retire. We don't have that. The anticipation is we do have obligations. We have folks that are coming to the point where they can retire. So what we did is we took those numbers. I sat down and looked at those numbers and said, potentially, if everybody walked out at a certain point, at a certain time, that there is a liability that is there. So when I looked at it and I considered establishing that fund, I kind of did it on a percentage. Not that everybody's going to walk out at the same time, but to be totally honest with you, in my head, I said,
Why?
let me finish. I said, if there's 10 people, just a number, if there's 10 people who are eligible to retire during the year 2026, and realistically, a percentage of them may change their mind or what have you, say 5 of them left. I turned around and I looked at those numbers and I said, what would be, you need to take that?
I do not, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, that being said, I didn't see value in funding for 10 people that are leaving. We can't anticipate 10 people are going to leave all at once. But it would be foolish not to establish a fund without a percentage. Because guess what? If we are obligated to pay out that money, where would that money come from? So by establishing a fund and starting to feed that fund and putting that into an investment where the accruals can build that fund up, then the burden would not be so great when the time comes. So even if the 10 people left and the fund wasn't fully funded for the 10 folks that would leave, we would still have to pay them, and it would come, more than likely, out of our unallocated fund. So to establish the fund, it was probably the best thing, and honestly, it's something that we've talked about for quite a long time. And kudos to Councilman Castillo.
But for about 3 years,
That's-
because
yeah.
whenever it happens.
That wasn't my question. My question was, how much do you have currently in accrued employee
Zero,
liability?
that was the answer to you.
I don't know what the
No,
number, I don't know what the
no.
number is. I don't know how many hours each employee has in their vacation. I don't know how much hours they have in their, sick time. I don't know what the obligations are. I will tell you this, we're 2 years into negotiation for the first time of a contract for the highway department. So there's a lot of unknowns. So to go and be reasonable and take the best educated guess at establishing that fund, that's what we did. If you're looking for magic numbers, they're not gonna happen.
I'm not looking for made-up numbers, I'm not looking for magic numbers. All I'm looking at, you said that reasonably, said you took a percentage of a number to
Yeah.
determine. So I'm asking, if you took a percentage of a number, you must have some idea
About
as to what that
75%
implies.
About 75% is what I figured, about 75%.
So this 40,000 is 75% of what we currently have in accrued
In a
liability?
Yeah, I would say approximately, and nothing is exact. When I'm giving you these numbers, I'm giving you a roundabout number. It is an estimate.
And is this from the highway office, employees? Is it from the general fund employees? Which employees is this for?
Yes. There will be
Yes,
two
what?
accounts, all the employees. It's going to be 2 accounts. One will be established with the DA employees, which is the highway department. The other one will be the general fund employees. So the general fund employees will include the folks that work in this building currently. It will also include the police department. It will also include the building maintenance personnel that's in the highway department. that we pay out of out of our general fund. It will also include the highway superintendent, who we pay out of the general fund. It will also include the highway superintendent secretary, which we pay out of the general fund. I think the best thing to do, rather than be confused, if you can orchestrate all your questions, put them in writing, submit it to me, I will give you a response in writing.
No, I'm trying just to understand this one, because you only adopted one resolution that didn't mention anything of what you just said.
It did,
No, it just says $40,000, it doesn't say highway fund, doesn't say general fund, it just says one fund.
right now it's for all the employees, and we will be separating it, because it will come out of the DA fund, and then it will come out of there. This is basically to establish the fund.
I get that this is,
Okay, put your questions in writing.
no, I
will
don't need
respond to
to,
you
I don't need
in
to put
writing.
any questions in writing,
Okay.
you've answered my question, thank you.
Okay. Robert,
In regards to TEG, I think they may be changing the law where the town eventually will be able to use that.
okay, the last time I did speak to them personally, that we were unable to do that, but I will recheck again, and I will leave a note of that. Anyone else?
Motion to close the public input.
Okay, motion to close at 7:45. I will second that. So we have a motion with a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. All right. We did our transfers already. I will hold off on the vouchers. I will make a motion to go into executive session. Second. Okay, we have a motion on the floor to go into executive session at 7:46 PM. All in favor?
Purpose of the executive session?
Aye. Opposed?
No.
So carried.
No purpose for the executive session?
Oh, yes, there is, and it says right on, hopefully, if you don't have that, I'll have Sarah get up and get you one of those also.
Well, usually.
I am sorry, I will read it
Motion?
into the minutes, that executive session, and if you like, I'll rescind my motion, remake my motion, and my motion is to go into executive session to discuss legal action.
What legal action?
I'm not going to discuss that.
Well, that,
So,
you are
we're
supposed
going
to
into
identify
executive
that.
session to discuss legal action, the second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried.